We have an interesting one today. It is a reissue of a 1959 Gibson Standard. It is in the beautiful faded tobacco VOS finish, and this one is a little bit different. It combines standard and true historic specs. If you go in the legacy archive of the Gibson website and look up the year 2017, the Gibson Custom, you will simply not find either the Standard Historic or the True Historic series. There is no information about them whatsoever. However, if you click on the year 2016 under Gibson Custom again, you will find both the Standard and True Historic series. And the exact model that I'm looking for, the Standard Historic 1959 Les Paul, in the finish that is called Faded Tobacco VOS. There it is. What exactly happened in 2017? Most of you probably remember that in the year 2017 Gibson was on the verge of bankruptcy and was still under the old management. It was a confusing transitional year not only for Gibson employees but for the models as well. Apparently what happened is that Gibson mixed both series, the Standard Historic and the True Historic, into one, making the guitars more desirable and easier to sell. On top of that, most of the guitars were never acknowledged on the Gibson website. That's why I didn't find this 59 reissue in the 2017 page of the Gibson Legacy Collection. It was simply not listed in the official website back in 2017. As far as I gathered, most of these guitars were ordered by dealers and in specific colors. 4 of these 59 reissues in the faded tobacco VOS finish were ordered by the same dealer, and one of them is in my hands. This means that whoever bought a 2017 Standard Historic 54, 56, 57, 58, 59 got True Historic specs. Not all the True Historic specs, but enough, as I shall explain in a minute. I'm gonna read through some information about the 2017 guitars given by Gibson to the dealers. Then I'm gonna show you on screen both the specs of the Standard and True Historic 59 reissues. I'm quoting Gibson. Features of what we knew as 2016 Standard and True Historics are being considered into one single series where all new 2017 Historic reissue Les Pauls will feature the Carmelita top carve profile. All 54, 56, 57 and 58 historic reissues have 59 neck profiles. That's interesting. All hide glue construction and nitrocellulose lacquer finishes with aniline dye. True historic parts including pickguard, pickup rings, switch washer, tip, knobs, pickup covers and jack plate. Historic accurate serial numbers, no R at the beginning of the serial. Rolled fretboard binding. Solid Indian rosewood fretboard, hot hide glue construction. Solid one-piece mahogany neck with historic long neck tenon, hot hide glue construction. Two-piece figured top on 59 models, hot hide glue construction. Holy headstock veneer. Custom bucker pickups. Finishes include antique gold, dirty lemon replacing lemon burst, faded tobacco, iced tea and washed cherry. Some were ordered as lightbacks, whatever that means. This one is important. Most were all special order runs from dealers and they were never acknowledged on the Gibson website. That's even more interesting. Some were a purpose collector choice. The street price for 1954 through 1958 historic reissue Les Pauls in both gloss and VOS finishes is $4,699. The street price for 1959 through 1960 historic reissue Les Pauls in both gloss and VOS finishes are $6,499. I'm not 100% sure that this info came straight from Gibson, but I'm willing to believe it because I see the true historic specs on this guitar. And they're not supposed to be there. Plus they were special ordered by a dealer. I wanna have the Standard Historic and the True Historic 59 specs in my video for future reference in case they disappeared from the Gibson Reissue website. The bigger differences between the two being the glue, the dye and the hand labor in crafting the top and the neck. I'm gonna slowly scroll through all of the specs and I'm gonna try to shut up for most of the time. Look at this, in the Standard Historic, materials used glue, Franklin tight bond. You see in a minute the True Historics are using hot hide glue hand applied. And remember, the 2017 guitar combines both specs. Here's the neck specification. Now I want to point your direction to the neck fit and the adhesive hot hide glue. Standard Historics are using hot hide glue for the neck joint only. True Historics are using it for the fingerboard application and the top. You saw the finishes, the electronics, the pickups, custom buckers. Here are the 500K pots and the capacitors. The hardware includes some clues on Reissue Deluxe tuners. The dimensions of strings, output jacks, plastics. The 2017 models are all True Historic plastics. Reissue Les Paul case. That's it for the Standard Historic. Now let's run through the specs of the True Historic 1959. You could pause at any time and read these. Check out that price. Now look at this, the body. Hand selected backs for lightweight and hand applied hide glue. And a goddamn mosquito is biting me right now, I swear to God. Here's the neck specification, hot hide glue, as expected. Not as much finishes as the Standard Historic series and I definitely see no tobacco over here. The electronics include the custom buckers, same 500K pots, the bumblebee capacitors. Here's some dimension for strings, the plastics, True Historic plastics, as you can see listed here. And that's it. As a reasonable human being, I'm not gonna consider all of this information to be 100% true. I'm gonna put it to the test by reviewing as much 2017 historic guitars possible, starting with this one. As I already mentioned, some of the specs are a combination between Standard and True Historic. I already showed you most of them and now I'm gonna go through the basics. It has a one-piece mahogany body with a book-matched flame maple top. It is in the 2016 faded tobacco VOS finish, meaning it's slightly aged. We're gonna discuss VOS finishes in detail in another video. We have a mahogany neck, set neck construction with hide glue. One-piece solid Indian rosewood fingerboard with a 12-inch radius. 22 frets and gorgeous cellulose trapezoid inlays. Reissue Cluson Deluxe tuners that had been aged as well. A set of custom Booker PAF pickups with Audio-Technica magnets. These had been specially made for the Reissue guitars. ABR1 bridge and reissued aluminum tailpiece. 500K pots with bumblebee capacitors. And we got True Historic plastics all around. The neck pickup cavity looks like this. You can see a maple cap for the truss rod. Gibson are calling this a historic long neck tenon and the way that it's connected to the body is interesting. Look at how the maple top fits to the mahogany body like a jigsaw. If this had the Standard Historic specs, only the neck would have used hide glue, but in this case the top is also glued to the body with a hide glue. You have to be extremely careful with finishes like this one. You see I'm using a cloth and I'm being cautious with the pickup not to scratch the nitro finish. Here's the routing for the electronics and a ground wire going to the bridge. Gibson are calling these custom Booker PAFs. They have Audio-Technica magnets and I gave you the formula for them in the beginning with the specs. The covers are aged and the plastics are a part of the True Historic specs. Here is the bridge custom Booker, patent applied for sticker, historically correct PAF. The aged pickup covers and the True Historic plastic rings are easy to recognize, but you don't see these every day. Look at the pickup ring screws, they had been aged as well. Measuring the custom Bookers, the bridge is at 7.96 k ohms. Switching over to the neck, a little bit hotter, 7.94. Both pickups 3.97. Pretty soft and creamy as they should be for a 59. The control knobs, the gold top hats, were actually the specs that gave away that this is not just a Standard Historic. You see, I used to own a 58 Standard Historic reissue and the plastics were totally different. These are softer to the feel and yellower. They feel and look nothing like the regular top hats. metal pointers or thumb bleeders underneath them. I am addicted, I want them on every guitar that I own. One of them is cracked, but I don't care. I'm gonna be touching these a lot, so give me that soft feel. The bridge is a traditional ABR1 with thumb wheels. Gibson ABR1 on the bottom, and this one has been aged to match the VOS theme of the guitar. It has individual saddles. The tailpiece is interesting as well. Gibson are calling these Reissue lightweight aluminum. It has been aged as well, and what's interesting is that not only the tailpiece but the poles for it are aged. I just love this sort of attention for detail. Most of people will probably never notice this, but it's there. Here's a look at the thumb wheel and strut that the bridge mounts on. Let's weigh these just for the hell of it. The ABR1 bridge weighs 57 grams. The modern tom bridges weigh something similar to this. The tailpiece on the other hand is always a surprise when you pick one up. 32 grams, extremely light. One of the saddles came out pretty easily since there's no spring holding these in place, so I took the opportunity to show it to you. Gorgeous two-piece flame maple top with 50 style carving, single bound 50 style cream binding. And if you ever picked up one of these reissues, you've probably noticed the red stains on the binding. Let me show it to you on the neck where it's clearly visible. This is not a defect, this used to happen in the 50s. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. As far as I understood, it's the aniline dye bleeding into the binding. It's one of these things that if you don't reproduce properly, the traditionalists will get mad. The switch washer and the amber tip are also part of the true historic specs. The neck is made out of one-piece mahogany, set neck construction with hide glue and historical long neck tenon. One-piece Indian rosewood fingerboard also glued with hide glue as per true historic specifications, and I can't believe these are not mother of pearl. The cellulose inlays look amazing. I mean, these are plastic but they look like real mother of pearl, and they had been slightly aged as well. 22 frets and rolled fingerboard binding as per the true historic specs. And I'm gonna give you guys a better look of the side dot inlays, they're pretty cool. These are called turtle shell side dot inlays and they're pretty cool reddish when the light hits them just right. Yeah, I knew there was something fishy around here. This is not a bone nut, doesn't feel like a bone nut, it's nylon. I'm a bit disappointed by that, to be honest. Gibson are calling this a vintage style of truss rod with no tubing. It is one-way adjustable and it's covered by this traditional bell held by two screws. The headstock has a 50s profile, pearloid Gibson logo and Les Paul model silkscreen. I love the fact that the Gibson logo was aged as well, it's yellowish. It's not the logo itself that has been aged, it's the nitro finish on top of it. Clouson Deluxe reissued tuners. The nut is 43mm wide or 1.69 inch. The 12 fret is at 52.2mm or 2.05 inches. The next two specs are the reason that I'm not playing standard 50 reissues. 23mm at the first fret or 0.90 inches. And check out the monstrous 12th fret. This is the thickest I've recorded at 1 inch. The body is 50mm thick but the top curves so it gets thicker at some spots. 24.75 inch scale length and a 12 inch radius, typical for a Les Paul. The specs say 50 style of neck profile, but we know that all 2017 standard historic reissues have the 59 style of neck. The back is made out of a single piece hide grade mahogany with aniline dye and nitrocellulose finish. You will not see any seam lines on this and you're not supposed to feel any weight relief, although this one is pretty light. Here is the routing for the 3-way switch. Pretty wide, no shielding on it, and you can see all the way to the maple cap. I'm not sure if this is a Switchcraft switch or some historic reissue part. This is what the electronics compartment looks like, 500k pots, grounded with two bumblebee capacitors. Probably reissued. The plastic cover for the output jack is also part of the true historic specs. Nothing too fancy for the covers for the electronics, just your regular plastic for the electronics compartment, and this is for the 3-way switch. The Gibson Custom Shop is giving you this medallion if you want to replace the plastic on the 3-way switch. I like these, Gibson started using them after 2012 and I put them on all of my guitars after that year. Here's a better look at the electronics compartment, the bumblebee capacitors and the maple top. This is what the back of the neck looks like, gloss nitrocellulose finish. Here's a better look at the neck joint and the way the body binding stops at it. Pretty thick near the 12th fret, it is a chunky neck, it's not for me. I'm gonna show you the Clouson Deluxe tuners in a minute. Look at this, historically accurate serial numbers. Gibson got rid of the R in front of the serial number for this run. 9 indicates the model year that it's reissued, 59, 7 is 2017, and 1616 is the production number. I guess people were complaining about the R in front of the serial number, so as per the true historic specs, Gibson got rid of those. The checklist indicates that this was made in 2017, October. I guess we cannot call these R9s anymore. This is what the historically correct Kluson Deluxe tuner is supposed to look like. It's aged, as you can see, and not only the casing is aged, like rusted, but the screw for it as well. I'm not entirely sure about the button plastic though. Here's the headstock without the tuner, and these weigh exactly 22 grams or 0.8 ounces. The cream pickguard and the bracket are also part of the true historic specs. These are true historic plastics. Even the mounting screws are aged. As you can see, I'm extra careful with the finish on those. I put cloth underneath it. I don't put it on stands unless I have to take quick pictures or something like that. Anyway, this is surprisingly light for a 50s guitar, 3920 grams or 8.64 pounds. I kind of expected at least 2 pounds heavier for a guitar that's not chambered, but hey, I haven't tried an original. We got the Reissue brown with pink fur lining case, 5 gold plated latches, sturdy leather handle, and the Gibson custom logo. White stitching fits the Les Paul perfectly. I think they stopped using this in 2021. Here's the usual compartment for string and tools. The case is made in Canada. Let's go through the case candy, stickers and labels. Gibson vintage reissue strings. I think the guitar originally came with them. This is the Gibson social media information. Gibson custom label. Nothing on the back. Bumblebee equipped. It's funny. I'm not sure if these are historically correct bumblebees, but they're on it. And I haven't seen this one. Some more information about the Gibson strings in it. The back features the serial number and the model. Some Gibson history on the left, and on the right supposed to be the dealer information, but it's blank. This is an Area 59 sticker and the logo resembles the Gibson custom logo. I did a little bit of digging and I found this page on the Crazy Parts website. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I think Area 59 is a brand of parts that are actually the true historic parts, like the gold top hats, the aged one, you can clearly see they are aged, the vintage truss rod bell, the pickup rings, the switch tip and the pick guards. Apparently those are the true historic plastics. And I don't think they are made by Gibson. Help me with some info about this in the comments, guys. This is the usual certificate of authenticity that the custom shop uses. I have them on most of my custom shop guitars. LP standard, the model, the serial number, the date, and this sticker used to be on the pick guard. The key for the case looks like this. Now let's hear it. Apparently 2017 was a transitional year not only for Gibson management but for the guitars as well. Blending the 2016 Standard and True Historic series into one for the 2017 year model is an interesting solution by Gibson. It was probably in the best interest of the company to make the Standard Historics more desirable for everybody and move more guitars facing the bankruptcy. I'm not entirely sure this is the reason why they did it, but whoever bought a 2017 Standard Historic model got a true hidden gem. I'll be surely looking out for these in the future. And with this being the 51st video that I did, I'm taking a little bit of a break. There are some PlayStation games that I want to play, some riffs that I want to learn. See you guys soon.